Hello and welcome to the first video installment for the San Diego Beer News. I am Colby Chandler, longtime employee of Ballast Point Brewing and contributor to SDBN. In this edition, we will be scratching the surface of craft beer and disc golf, and the Brewers Fling, a brewery worker, brewing industry, and beer drinker disc golf tournament that has been going on since the first San Diego Beer Week in 2009. Years. I played 10 flings. So starting from back in the day. Fling one, number one.
So 5 years.
This is 2 for me, 3 for me.
7 or 8, I think.
This is my 3rd year.
I think I'm at 5.
4. I played 4.
Yeah.
This will be my 7th fling.
My 3rd or 4th.
Every one, never missed it. Won it twice.
This is my 1st year.
The past 3 years.
I've played in 7 flings and I've won the fling this year.
There are a few breweries that have a disc golf course on their property. Anderson Valley Brewing Company is my favorite. Let's talk a bit with Fal on the history of this iconic California location. All right, when I was first tasked to do something like this for San Diego Beer News, I thought disc golf and craft beer would be a great little story to do. And when I thought of that, I thought about one of my favorite courses up north on Anderson Valley. And of course, my good friend Fal, we've gone through a lot. We've been down to Patagonia and back and sitting here and drinking some Anderson Valley beer. And I bought this disc a long time ago.
Oh, nice.
So a good putter from there. I remember tournaments during the Boonville Festival. I remember the great prizes, the cash, beer, and weed prizes. Those were always fun to be a part of. And I just wanted Fal to come on and give a little history of Anderson Valley, why craft beer goes so well with them, why they built disc golf course decades ago, and just kind of talk to him about the marriage between the two.
Well, I'll tell you first a little bit about Anderson Valley. We started in 1987 in the little town of Boonville. Population's about 500 people. We started a brew pub. Town of 500 people doesn't have a lot to do in it. So when I came on in 2000, I hired a friend of mine, Dan Hauk. He was a brewer that I knew up in Seattle, and at the time he was working on the island of Kauai in Hawaii. So I said, come on out. So he moved to Anderson Valley, and Dan said, well, what about a disc golf course? And I played disc golf quite a bit in college when I went to the University of Hawaii. So I thought it was a great idea. Why not? We got 28 acres. Why not put in a disc golf course, right? He said, well, I'll build all the baskets. You take wine barrels or, other parts of brewing equipment, and we'll weld them together and screw them together, and we'll make our own baskets. So for about 3 or 4 years, the golf course was completely Dan's design in every way. The funky baskets, the layout, the tees were, we didn't have mats or anything on the tees. That was 01, 02, and I think in 03, Dave Keene, the owner of the Tornado, who been buying beer from us for 20 years at that point, said, tell you what, I will buy you guys an official basket, so you can have one official basket. So he did, and if you go to the Tornado, there's a picture on the wall. As you go in, it's on the left, I think. Of all of us standing around with Dave Keene around our brand new official Tornado basket. I think about 09 or 010 we started the Boot Fling. Maybe it was 011. A guy named Crash came to us and said, hey, I want to do a tournament. So we have an official tournament every year. We skipped it this year, obviously, but we have a tournament. And one of the things that's gone on during this year, when you couldn't do anything else, is we were able to allow people to come onto the property and play disc golf. It's a socially distanced game. We even brewed a beer called the Heiser for our disc golf players that come to visit. Well, I like to encourage people that do play to come on up here and play. definitely check in and say hi.
To be completely honest, I've only played Morley Field, so I'd have to say it's my favorite.
My favorite disc golf course is definitely Morley Field.
I would have to say that Morley Field is my favorite disc golf course.
Morley's my favorite. I mean, it's centrally located. They mix up the pins a lot.
My favorite course is Morley Field. Morley Field is my favorite for sure. Played here since '97, I guess.
This is the only disc golf course I've ever played at.
So my favorite disc golf in San Diego had been Morley for a long time because it was the only disc golf course. Started playing here in 1994. Now there's, what, 15, 12 disc golf courses around the county. I've been liking Kit Carson lately.
My favorite course is right here at home at Morley Field. This is home. It'll always be. There's never a bad day at Morley.
I remember sitting around a bar talking about a disc golf tournament, and then poof, it happened. Scot Blair, Chuck Silva, both started out as a San Diego Beer Week event, and I have enjoyed it for the past 12 years. Let's talk to them a little bit about it. Give us the lowdown on the Fling and how that all got started.
Yeah, so
Which bar were you sitting around drinking in when you thought of it?
yeah, I don't know if I can pinpoint that, but I'll tell you, it probably was Hamilton's Tavern. But the whole point was, again, that in the middle of the week, in the middle of Beer Week, I think I had a little gap in the schedule, and I wanted to just get together with some brewers. We had, of course, brewers from out of town, as well as just the brewers from in town, just strictly doing events for 10 days. And knowing that, I just invited, yourself, Arnie Johnson, and Sean, and the Coronado crew, just basically brewers at large in San Diego to come out and play. And then discussing that also with Scot Blair and trying to schedule an event for the same day for afterwards. So sort of have a little after party. Well, they don't normally open probably when, at the time that we were finishing. So what he decided is that he wanted to sponsor it and headline Green Flash Brewing to do an event, multicast. I don't know if it was the first year or the second year. We'd actually did, I think, 7 casks. So we've done a couple different things, but we would always have the winner, which was kind of loosely played, but there was always a winner, and we'd have the winner tap the cask. So there was always a cask presented at each of the 7 flings that I played in. More to it. It wasn't just the brewers. So this is Scot Blair's thinking. He's selling some tickets for people to come out and play, get a disc, get a t-shirt, get the after party, hang out with brewers, hit them up with questions. And so when I set up the tournament and ran the tournament, I originally paired non-brewers with brewers. And then as we progressed, we got handicaps on people, and we kind of tried to weed out the pros and pair up the pros with the absolute novice players and try to take the competitive edge off it and just keep it a very fun event, which is really the whole intent of the Fling, is just to go out and have some fun and hang out and have some camaraderie over craft beer. One of my favorite memories is Scot Blair mouthing off about how he's going to beat me, so I bet him. I was like, well, yeah, he had a nice shiny new disc in his bag, something that looked a little bit like this. But really fun, to be able to put on that tournament and to have just a lot of fun with it. And I think people wanted it to be this crowning achievement to win, and I always wanted to prevent pros from winning it and keeping it just really on that even playing field.
So Chuck was just saying that he won a disc off of you one time.
I think it was a furthest throw disc, and I don't believe I ever beat him. So he was always one-upping me. I was never really that good, but I was always hovering around one over, you know. But there were some holes that we would take competition on, and I believe that was the furthest tee off, and he did win a disc from me. Remember this?
Oh yeah. Nice.
Old school.
What's it say? I didn't sign that one, did I?
No, there is another one I have that says Scot Blair sucks.
Yeah. That's awesome. So, why the Fling? Why'd you start it? What do you love about it?
Started, Chuck Silva was afternoon at Hamilton's. I believe it was like a Friday. We're sitting there having a couple of beers, maybe for happy hour, gentlemen's hours. Just talking about how to do something interesting with the beer week. Something that's not just food and beer, and something more communal. Not that food and beer pairings aren't communal. That's not what I mean. But what I mean is like something more interactive. That's not so formal. And so he was like, well, if there's a bunch of people in town, let's get together and, throw some discs. Cool. And then we're like, well, they kind of spitballing, a couple more beers. And you're like, well, let's do a tournament. And I'm like, a tournament would be great. Yeah. And then it's like, well, let's do a shirt. And then I'm like, well, I'll sponsor it. And then we could do like, breakfast at the park. People can throw, and then if there's a bunch of people from our friends from other breweries, I'll bring some beer in, then people can come back for a small private after hours. We could tie it into like some casks, because at that time that was kind of a new thing, like an insurgence of Americans making cask beer, so they could tap a cask, and the people that win, and we can pair people up, and so people that aren't in the industry can throw with some of their favorite people from the industry, or people that they didn't know, or whatever it is, And so it just kind of sort of evolved from that into like a really fun activity, that's kind of breaks up beer week a little bit, because you're out there drinking a lot of beer. You have an event every night. You're eating a lot of food. You're drinking a lot of beer. It's a nice thing to kind of just change it up, a little change of pace. And there was a lot of people that enjoy playing disc golf. So there, I don't believe that it would have been, like if there was everybody, let's just say we're all into basketball. It could have been a basketball tournament. It could have been whatever. But it just happened to be that there was a handful of people that we know, yourself, Chuck, to name a couple, Arnie from Marin. There was a lot of people that patronized Hamilton's that were fans of disc golf. So it just seemed organic.
You're out here on beautiful days like this, why not enjoy a local San Diego craft beer?
Not really too many sports that you can like have a beer in your hand and still be competitive while you're playing, you know what I mean?
Both are populated with good people, like-minded folks who enjoy simple good times.
Because you can do them both at the same time.
Exactly. Disc golf and craft beer was a marriage made in heaven, because disc golfers like to get things done quickly and at half the price.
When I'm out here and I'm playing, I don't want to carry a 12-pack of Miller Lite. I want to carry 3 good beers, and that'll get me there.
Because it's a sport that you can be athletic with, that you can also drink beer.
Because brewers don't make any money, and disc golf is cheap.
Because it makes you loosey-goosey where you're not in your head game, and you just want to enjoy the sound of the chains and throw those discs all the time.
For more info on disc golf in San Diego, check out the websites for the Professional Disc Golf Association, the San Diego Aces Disc Golf Club, and of course, Morley Field. For more info on the San Diego breweries that could be close to where you are throwing some plastic, check out the San Diego Brewers Guild and the San Diego Beer News website too. And as always, cheers to San Diego beers.